With the price of Bitcoin on the move, breaking back above 63,000, what's going on? Why are we seeing such a volatility, and what does this week hold? Well, there's some pretty big news from some giants in the space. I'm going to break down, particularly around Blackrock and GBTC. What have they been up to? Stick around. Let's find out. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Let's jump into it. So welcome back to $63,445 on the price of Bitcoin, up 6% on the day. And our overall market cap back above 2.33 trillion. That's a 5% move in the last 24 hours. So good news that we have that bounce on again from Bitcoin. And actually we see volume around 75 billion, which shows us people are buying. Not many people are selling. There's not a lot of trading going on as we ultimately enter this weekend. So we see a couple of good bounces on Solana, as well as some native coins like Dogecoin, Toncoin absolutely having a move. And in particular, DeFi seems to be exploding. BRIT, as an example, up nearly 200% on the day. So what's going on? Why are we seeing such a big bounce on today? Well, the jobs report from the US came in favorable. The expectation was higher than what came in, showing an easing in the labor market, which ultimately supports the narrative of people investing in cryptocurrency. At the same time, however, there is some things going on in the background that could absolutely ignite this cryptocurrency space, even bigger than what we've seen with those ETF launches. Now, Blackrock, we know, is a huge asset fund manager, and they have been in discussions, allegedly, with some pretty heavy amounts of money, namely sovereign funds and pension funds. These could be absolutely monumental. So just to give you a view on what sovereign wealth funds are, these are countries that have investments that they want to put in, and these things are big. In particular, you talk about Norway's investment fund, about 1.6 trillion. When you start to get into places like Saudi Arabia, the UAE, these are trillion-dollar assets that could be coming in. Now, we also know that Bitcoin hasn't been purchased by BlackRock now for well over a week. They're actually sitting pretty and haven't bought anything. So this could be a very interesting indication as to what might be being done and ultimately what could be happening in the background. Just to give you some sentiment of exactly what these can look like, you start to get into some of these asset funds and really understand how big they are. Saudi Arabia around $1 trillion, as well as Kuwait and the Norway fund, like I said, about $1.6 trillion. So these are huge funds that could be flowing in the market. So the fact we get an easing in labor and then a potential monumental tsunami of massive amounts of funds coming in is kind of crazy to think about. Then you would go into the $10 trillion asset pension funds that ultimately could come into Bitcoin. Remember, ETFs have given that doorway for people to invest safely into cryptocurrency. And the other thing that we have going on, which is something that has not happened now for over 80 days, is Grayscale bought some Bitcoin, $63 million to be precise. And again, over 80 days of outflows from this exchange, from this ETF, finally sees a reversal buying 63 million. We also saw the Chinese coming in buying over 115 million, as well as those Hong Kong ETFs. So there is a real sentiment in the market that it has shifted. You only have to take a look at the price of Bitcoin. And interestingly enough, this is what we drew the other day, talking about this key support level around that kind of 59.3. And we got an incredibly strong bounce aligned to a movement in MACD and RSI. So what's the question? Could we see Bitcoin start to head back up, retesting the 50-day simple moving average, or even further, retesting around that 67,000? We know there's a huge amount of liquidity sat about 68,000. Retail is going to have to come out and buy. But right now, a $63,150 Bitcoin looking like it's wanting to move even more. Could we see 65K this weekend? Are we about to see a monumental move from retail this weekend? Lots of indicators would say so. Into a big week next week. Could we see financial institutions, pension funds, sovereign wealth funds flowing aggressively into these Bitcoin ETFs, or even just into Bitcoin? Quite possibly. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. What is your view on Bitcoin this weekend? Are we about to see a rally or not? As always, drop it down in the comments down below. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. If you enjoy the content, give it a thumbs up. And until the next video, I'll see you very soon. Take care.